Books make you hope. Books make you dream. Books make you laugh. Books make you scream. This is the Books That Make You show, discussing books with authors and experts, unraveling the inner pages of all the books that help make us who we are. Hosted by Desiree Duffy.
It is time for us to have some bookish fun. We are talking about books that make you believe in the power of coaches. Coaches. They're like mystical, magical beings, aren't they? Coming to us with all sorts of advice and information. And they come to us in all kinds of different forms, too. There's life coaches and career coaches, health and wellness coaches, business coaches, and of course, there are coaches in sports. I think that's where it came from, right? Now, the wonderful thing about coaches is they drive us to succeed. Self-pride, discipline, work ethics, and that never give up attitude are instilled in us by coaches. Isn't it amazing how one person, one coach in your life can make all the difference? Coach Daryl Whittington was such a coach. He went beyond the call of duty to impact the lives of kids forever. He was a teacher, a motivator, and even a father figure. The book, Coach Daryl's Colts, Going for Two by Corey McKinney, tells his story. Corey is the CEO of a nonprofit called Go for Two. His organization goes out into the community and they help others in need, especially women and children. He's also a youth speaker that deals with subjects such as peer pressure and bullying. And he's also fostered and mentored kids for the last 8 years. And just recently, this is so cool, he was a speaker and mentor at the Steve Harvey Mentorship Camp. Corey, hello, welcome to the show.
Hello, how are you? How are you doing?
I am wonderful. And look at you, you're doing all of these amazing things. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So tell us, why are coaches so important in our lives, especially for children?
Well, a lot of times, with coaches, they're like the parent away from home. And a lot of times kids are more likely to kind of listen to and respond to coaches, their demeanor. They teach our kids a lot about, discipline and work ethic and having character and things like that. So they're very important and can be a very, helpful tool in kids' life, especially their upbringing.
Yeah, exactly. And your book is about Coach Daryl. Somebody who very specifically was an inspiration for so many. Can you tell us more about him? Who was he?
Yeah. Coach Daryl was a great guy. Coach Daryl Whittington, he was a man that came into various inner cities areas in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, and formulated our youth football team. He was a guy that went over and beyond the call of duty, all sorts of things in the book. He used to let us spend the night over his house. He taught us a lot about, things like discipline and working hard and having character, which all of those things allow us to be successful on the field, but not just on the field, but off the field as well.
And so you played for him. What position did you play? And this is football, right, that we're talking about?
Yes, this is football. I played at several positions. I played wide receiver. I played safety, cornerback, a little bit of quarterback, a little bit.
And what were some of the things that specifically that he would instill into you and the other children as well?
It's about repetition. We did things over and over and over until we became very good at it. We had to be disciplined about everything that we did. And that all those things for us to discipline, taught us to be successful.
He produced a very winning record. Tell us the results of his coaching.
Yeah, all those things that we were taught from an early age allowed us to actually the previous year before he started coaching, that team had won 2 games total. And the first year that Coach Daryl took over and taught us all of those things that we learned, we were very successful the first year and was undefeated the first year, won the championship the first year. And we played for him for 6 years straight. And in that 6 years, a total of 90 games that we played under Coach Daryl. And we won 89 of them and only lost 1.
That is an amazing record in any sport or any industry anywhere. So And you hear this a lot, too, where people talk about the star players. They need that star quarterback. You know, he has to throw the ball just right, or you need the receivers to do their job. And especially when a team isn't winning, when it's just not working, you see a lot of people that are pointing fingers and blaming, oh, well, the defense let us down, or, oh, yeah, well, the offense couldn't do their job. But really what it boils down to is if you've got a good coach and they're bringing everybody together to work as a team, I mean, right there is proof that, yeah, you need the talent, but the coach is really the star.
Yeah, I mean, he made a huge difference because, he taught us a lot about, competition and one of the main jobs as a coach is to get the most you can out of each player. And I think I know Coach Daryl did that. I mean, he not only looked at the star players, but he coached the players at the bottom of the roster just as well as the guys at the top of the roster. So the whole team got the same type of treatment, no matter, what your talent level was, whether you were a star on the team or whether you were, a second stringer or a third stringer, and that camaraderie that we formed with the whole team allowed us to be so successful.
And that's important, too, because you do see that a lot. The people, the kids, the players that end up sitting on the bench with the sad faces.
Right.
And to know that everybody gets the same level. Because how is somebody who still needs to, hone their skills ever going to get better if they don't feel like they're part of the team?
Right. And every year, nothing was given to us. You had to go out and earn it. It was like open trials every season. So each guy got a fair shake and a fair opportunity to go out there and prove themselves. We all had to learn multiple positions. So we were able to, change guys in and out. If somebody was hurt or if somebody was sick or something like that. By us being taught as a group, as a team, everything from A to Z, it allowed us to stay successful even when, players were missing.
And that's interesting, too. So is that why you played so many different positions? Because he was having you do that?
Yeah, we all actually had to play multiple positions. It was like, you played your best position first. But then, also you also taught something different. You also was taught a second position or third position, even a lot of the guys. And the reason, well, I'm not sure if this was his reason, but a lot of games, we were up early in the game, so he would take the starters out, and you couldn't go back in at your normal position. So you had to kind of learn something different if you wanted to get back in the ball game, because he didn't want to kind of like run the score up on the other teams and stuff. So he would take the starters out at your starting position. And the only way you got back in is if you did something, second string or third string or something like that.
And I have to imagine, too, that strategy just helps everybody work together even more so as a team, because you understand what that other position might be going through. It's kind of like on the job, if you're doing cross-training, people in different positions, once they have that empathy and that understanding of what somebody else might be going through and what their job might be like, it helps us all understand each other and ultimately work together.
Yes, and even like for the running backs, the guys that runs the ball all the time, sometimes their second or third string position will be the offensive line who actually blocks for the running back. So they got a firsthand kind of taste of what is helping them be successful and what the offensive line goes through every day for them. So they appreciated it a lot more, the guys that was blocking for them, when they had an opportunity to go in and block for others.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just like, oh, now I understand what they have to do. This is hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm taking some hits here, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it sounds like Coach Daryl was a really nice, awesome guy, but was he hard too? Was he the kind of coach that would come down on people, or what was his methodology?
Oh, my God. You talking about coming down on people. He was a disciplinarian all the way through. I mean, we kind of got it rough. It was a lot of tough love, I should say. A lot of tough words, a lot of tough love, a lot of physical, a lot of yelling, a lot of screaming. But, at the end of the day, it was all about trying to make us better. It wasn't nothing that was derogatory or something that was harming to us, but it was everything. But it was very disciplined and very tough, but at the end of the day, it was all about us getting better. And he got the most out of his players But he didn't play around at all. I mean, he was a tough guy, and had respect from everybody on the team, all the parents, even everybody else in the rest of the park. We had, every time we played, everybody would come watch us play. We had this big green bus that he used to pick us up on and take us back and forth from practice. And we took that green bus to the ball games. And when he showed up, it was like everybody knew that's Coach Daryl was coming. So he was a real strict disciplinarian, and that transferred over to us, and that transferred over to us being so successful on the field.
And I see that green bus too on the cover of the book. So now that all makes sense. And tell me too, you mentioned tough love, and I know we hear that word a lot, but there is such a difference when somebody is tough on you because ultimately they want you to do better than if somebody is just coming down on you for the sake of being a jerk, right?
Exactly. A lot of times, and I could kind of see his method, like when he was like I said, he was really tough on us. I mean, every day we was getting yelled at and cursed at and snatched up and all that kind of stuff that you probably could even do today. But at the end of the day, you knew. And we knew that he meant well for us, because he not only that he was tough on us on the field. I mean, he cared about us because he was coming up to our schools, checking on our report cards. He even paid a lot of guys fees to play, and all of the things that we did outside of football, for us going on trips, going on to the park, going out of town. That part of it was, you knew he loved us, not just, the football part of it, but us as kids as well.
And it sounds like he inspired you to be the person that you are today. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I think so, because, you see firsthand the impact that you can make when you go the extra mile. That's what the Going for Two is all about. It's about going the extra mile for others. And it makes a huge difference, and it just makes your heart smile when you do something for somebody else and you see the results at the end of the day.
Who should read this book?
I think everyone should read it. But definitely anybody who's playing any type of sport, any child that's playing any type of sport, any parent that has children that's playing any type of sport, any official that's officiating ball games, anybody that got anything to do with sports, any Christian that loves helping people and things like that, you can get something out of this book. I've been blessed to be able to actually touch all three levels of people with this book. I've had 8 and 9-year-old kids come up to me and told me that they absolutely love the book. I've had people, co-workers 30 and 40 years old, told me that it just took them back to when they were playing. They were so excited about the book, and they made their kids read it as well. And I've even had seniors, come up to me and told me that they wish they could have met Coach Daryl, and he was just seemed like he was a great guy, and they just absolutely loved the book and cried on me and everything. So I think it's a book for everybody to enjoy.
Oh, I love that. And I have to imagine, too, that because sports so often can be used as a metaphor for so many other things. We can use it for business, as a metaphor for our life, how we approach, just people, teachers, everybody. Like I said in the beginning, there's so many different types of coaches. So I have to imagine that whether you are interested in making yourself better health-wise or wellness-wise, or you want to improve your job situation or your career, that you can read this book and you'll be able to take something out of it using sports, using football, basically as a metaphor.
Yeah, sports is just the tool. It's really about life, and it really shows the impact, you can make, when you do go the extra mile for others. And for us, the things that we were taught, like the discipline and hard working and character and, dealing with adversity, that's stuff that you're going to use in your life as well. That's work that you go through every day, being able to be disciplined and get up and go to work every day. Those are things that everybody has to have, even outside of sports.
Now, you started an organization, a nonprofit organization called Go for Two. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. It's kind of, I started it, as a spin-off of the book when I wrote the book. It's called Go for Two, and our slogan is go the extra mile. It's guaranteed to make your heart smile, and I have that on my T-shirts as well. And it's just about helping others. We go out in the community and help others in need. Like this last Mother's Day, we went out to a shelter that moms that were in the shelter with their kids, and we took them Bath and Body. I actually went and asked them what they wanted, and they told me Bath and Body Works stuff. So I partnered with Bath and Body Works, and we took every mom and every person that was in the shelter, got a chance to get bags from us, where we brought bags such as lotions and sprays and things like that. I even spoke to the ladies and kind of gave them some inspiration about the situation, and that's not the end, that, God has another plan for them, and just continue to do and be, and everything will change and become better. So, and it's enjoyable when you get those hugs and you get those smiles from people that, appreciate, you giving them something. So, that's what our organization is really all about.
And you address some of the heavy topics too, really important topics. And I want to dig into that, because peer pressure and some of the struggles that kids face nowadays at school and on the playground, and if they're playing sports. Let's talk a little bit about that. What kind of peer pressure? And I want to talk about bullying too, but first let's address peer pressure, because it's such a powerful motivator, isn't it?
Yeah. A lot of times, when our youth are away from home, they kind of go off what they see and who they're around. And so I speak to kids, and I tell them all the time that, you don't have to follow the crowd, especially if it's something negative. Negative peer pressure is so easily to get into and so hard to get out. There's a lot of stories that I share from my youth, where I saw a lot of my friends that, were murdered and killed for things, hanging with the wrong crowd and making the wrong decisions, and, doing things like selling dope, and, all that stuff kind of came back on them, and they lost their lives from making bad decisions from negative peer pressure. It was really what it all boils down to, because they were listening to people telling them to do things that wasn't right. So I just try to give kids hope to say, hey, you don't have to go the negative direction. And it's always an option to walk out. It's always an option to leave. You don't have to follow anything negative. So as much as you can, try to stay away from negative people and negative peer pressure.
And there again, that's why coaches can be so powerful. You had mentioned that Coach Daryl was very much a father figure to many, because sometimes there are youth out there who just don't know any other way, because they don't have the positive influences in their lives.
Yeah, it was a lot of those kids, that were fatherless on our team, and didn't have a male figure in their life at all. So, he actually stepped in and was a father figure to a lot of us. There was a lot of kids, and I shared this with a group of young men at the Steve Harvey Camp, where, my dad didn't even come to any of the 90 games that I played.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And
that's sad.
I shared that with those guys. And I mean, he was around, but he had some issues he was dealing with. So, he stepped in, and I had my mom and my other family, they all came or whatever. But I told the other guys, I really didn't even think about it at the time, because I was just doing what I love to do. And Coach was there for us, and he always helped us, and always, like I said, we spent the night over his house. He took us places. So, those 6 years was so important to all of the guys, along with myself, that we played for Coach.
I love that. And I do want to talk about the Steve Harvey Mentoring Camp and the things you've done with him. But first, I have a question. So what about for people who want to become a coach? And maybe it's sports, or maybe it's something else. What tips or advice do you have for somebody who might want to be that inspiration and that father figure to others?
Well, I would say go for it. As long as you have a positive attitude and can deal with kids and deal with the different personalities that the kids bring, go for it, especially if you have support from your family, because you can be a huge tool in somebody's life. And that those things last with you longer than just when you're coaching. So, I advise anybody who wants to be a coach, because you're actually more than a coach. You're going to be become somebody's mentor. You're going to become somebody that those kids look up to. So I think it's a positive thing to pour into our youth when you become a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And bullying, too, that's like the mean big brother of peer pressure, right?
Yes,
that's where you just take it and you're just vile and awful to somebody. So let's talk about that. I mean, what advice do you have for parents, for example, whose kids are being bullied?
Well, when I speak about that, I talk about the incidents that's actually in the book, chapter 6. One of our teammates was killed in a bullying incident. But I do try to tell kids that, you don't have to follow that direction. Bullying is not a good thing. And I tell kids all the time, if you are bullying someone, you need to stop and you need to go apologize to that person. As a man and as an adult, you're going to learn that when you do wrong things, it's up to you to go make amends to it and make it right. And if there are kids that are being bullied, don't think that you're alone. Don't think that you're the only person. Get some help. Talk to a responsible adult like a police officer, a parent, a coach, or someone who can help you so you don't. I've seen too many kids that have taken their own lives because of being bullied. And every time I see that on TV, it just brings me back to this story because I witnessed the murder of my own teammate that's in this book. And I put that story in the book because I'm trying to inspire kids to stay away from bullying. He was actually the bully.
Okay. Tell us just a little bit about that. I know we want people to read the book, but if you could tell us more.
Yeah, he was bullying a guy, and he came from a difficult background. No dad, his mom was on drugs, so I think he just kind of was acting out because of this situation where he was jumping on the guy, beat him up a couple of times. The guy got tired of it and said he was going to retaliate to him one day if he continued. My teammate actually continued one day, and I was across the street. And he actually went to him, and his friend actually teased him up to go hit the guy again. Now, that's that negative peer pressure again. Mm-hmm. And he listened to his friend. He slapped the guy. The guy pulls out a gun. My teammates tried to run. He shoots him, and he kills him. And I saw the whole thing. So when I speak about bullying, it's not about I'm just talking. It's something about I witnessed it. And that devastated my coach. When we came back to practice Monday, we spent the whole 2 hours just talking about bullying and peer pressure. We didn't hit, we didn't touch, we didn't tackle, we didn't do anything. The only thing we did was talk about if anybody was having problems, let them know. Our coaches opened up to us. So it was probably the best practice that we had out of those 6 years, and it didn't have anything to do with football. It was just about life.
Yeah, and that's a devastating story, and it's a different situation too, because usually it's the person being bullied that a lot of times you hear they take their life or they get hurt.
Correct.
And this is a cautionary tale for anybody who is bullying because, hey, this can really get bad for you too.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think about, even when I speak to our youth, I tell them all the time, had he not listened to his friend that told him to go slap the guy, will he still be alive today? Who knows? I don't know. But that's part of the peer pressure and bullying that kind of all ties in together. When it's negative, please stay away from it.
Yeah, and I have to imagine, too, you mentioned this particular individual, they were acting out, they were doing this for some reason. And again, children especially, they react to situations in different ways. So somebody who might not feel supported or be confused or be angry and just not know how to deal with those feelings, they might act out by bullying. Whereas others, they might regress and become timid and shy, and then therefore they can become the targets of being bullied. But ultimately, hey, we're all human beings and we're all dealing with lots of the same things. We just take them on and react to them differently. But once you realize we're all in this together, I feel like that brings us together and can help prevent such situations.
Yeah. And the guy that actually was my teammate, that was his first year playing with us too. So I wish he could have been around us more, been around Coach longer. Maybe kind of would have kind of helped his situation a little bit. But unfortunately, that situation did take place.
Yeah, that influence. And there again, that's why coaches and having that positive influence early on is important too. Because you don't want it to get to a situation where it's too late.
Correct.
So tell us about the Steve Harvey Mentoring Camp. I want to learn more about that.
Okay. It's a camp that Steve does every year, Father's Day weekend, actually. And this is a camp where he brings in, this year we had 250 young men, and they all were high school age, 14 to 17, from single parent homes. And he's trying to teach them about, becoming men. And so he brings 20 men in from across the country. These boys come in from across the country and their moms as well. And he has the military there with them. And it's all about discipline. It's all about structure. He brings a lot of celebrities to come through. And it's a 4-day weekend starting on that Thursday of Father's Day weekend. The moms come in the first day, and we feed them, and we have a lot of things going on, a lot of activities. We take the moms to the hotels, and the men are just there with the boys the whole weekend. We have a whole weekend full of activities. They get some free time, and to go meet guys from different parts of the country and get to play ball and football and fish and things like that. And that's what it's all about. It's about empowering these youth and trying to get them ready for manhood.
What a great program. That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Now tell us, are you working on anything next? Another book or other projects with your organization?
Yeah, we're actually going to go out next month, and we're going to feed the moms at a homeless shelter next month. We got that coming up next month. I'll be in Atlanta in 2 weeks, actually, from tomorrow at the National Book Club Conference at the Intercontinental in Atlanta. I'll be there with the book that all weekend. And I am actually in the works of writing my second book also, which is going to be titled Foster Dad. It's going to talk about a lot of the experiences that I got, and I'm going to share those from my 8 years of being a foster parent from a male perspective, and just showing how important it is to have a male figure in these kids' life, going that extra mile.
Such an important message. Very commendable. I love it. So the book, once again, is Coach Daryl's Colts, Going for Two. Can you tell people where they can find it online, bookstores, and where they can find you, too, your website, social media, all that stuff?
Yeah, well, the book is, you can get the book two places. They're on my website, which is www.gofor2.net. It's www.gofor2.net. And you can get a signed copy off my website, and they're also on Amazon as well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I met you at the Book Expo in New York, and I got a copy of your book there. And then I saw you on a panel there, too. So I know that you're a magnificent speaker, and you speak in public as well. And I think anybody that brings you on is lucky to have you. So thank you again for everything that you do. It's amazing. And thank you for joining us here today. I really appreciate it.
And I thank you as well for your time and your interview. I really, really enjoyed it.
You bet. My pleasure. Once again, everybody, my name is Desiree Duffy, and this has been the Books That Make You show. Now, if you want to find out more about us and discover books to read, whether it's this summer or this fall or even gifts for the holidays, well, join us on our website. It's booksthatmakeyou.com. And you can also follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, all of my friends, please enjoy all of the books that make you who you are.
The executive producer for Books That Make You is Desiree Duffy. Produced and sound mastered by Phil Giangrande. Engineering by Dave Nabox. Social media and promotion by Bree Sweeter. For more, visit booksthatmakeyou.com.